Good morning. I'm Pastor Corby Johnson from the United Methodist Church in Safford, Arizona, and I'm so glad that you found me today. I'm glad that you joined us for morning devotions, afternoon devotions, or evening devotions, whenever you choose to watch. Today is Thursday, July 29th, and we are in Proverbs 22, verses 28 and 29. Now, if you watched yesterday, I told you it was Proverbs 22, 28 through 29, but it was not. Yesterday's was Proverbs 22, 26 and 27. So I'm making that correction today. You're the right day. Proverbs 22, 28 through 29, Thursday, July 29th. And the scripture reads, "Don't cheat your neighbor by moving the ancient boundary lines set up by previous generations. Do you see any truly competent workers? They will serve kings rather than working for ordinary people." Now I'm going to stick with the first verse. Don't cheat your neighbor by moving the ancient boundary markers set up by previous generations. Being a family farmer and living in rural areas, every now and then there is a question about where the boundaries are. And part of that is, with water and with foliage, sometimes those markers are not to be found, or sometimes it feels like they've moved, but the foliage is moving. So not cheating your neighbor by moving ancient boundary markers set up by previous generations is important. It's important today as it was back then. Imagine a land dispute between neighbors. Now, when you're in rural areas, your neighbors are your friends. They're the people that you go to church with, the people you shop with, the people you're in Scouts with or Legion with. Your neighbors are your neighbors. It's not a very mobile society when you're living on homestead farms in the farming industry. So land disputes do happen. And I'll tell you, it can destroy friendships. People will take sides, agree with this person or agree with the other person or this family or that family. And these disputes can rock a community. Ultimately, a surveyor needs to be called and the matter will be settled. Now, that is, of course, if the surveyor is not known to anybody and is from another state, right? But the surveying is of the utmost importance, especially since foliage and everything changes. I wonder what kind of conversations take place in that kind of dispute. I wonder what kind of feelings they have, and I wonder how much it changes the dynamics of friendship. As an activity, I wonder if you've ever felt that your voice was not heard because the other person talking has money enough to get his or her own way. And unfortunately, in some of these land disputes, that's what people are wondering, if this person paid off the land survey. Or sometimes gossip and innuendo can just blow up, and yes, people take sides. So as an action, I'm going to say, be a good neighbor. Be a good neighbor, a friend to your neighbors, someone who, if you're going out of town, they can look after your property and call you if there's any problem. Be that good neighbor that keeps track of who's sick and who's well and who needs help with the yard work, who needs help getting their mail picked up. Be honest with your friends and your neighbors. Work hard to keep your property clean and updated, so it's not an eyesore in the community. And serve the people around you. Serve your neighbors. Serve your friends and your community members and your church people, so that they know that you're honest and that you're kind and caring. The focus verse, don't cheat your neighbor. And I'm just going to leave it right there. Don't cheat your neighbor. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining me today. God's blessings.